Today we're going to pair the cameras on the Pixel 7 Pro versus the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. As you may know, the front facing camera on the Xiaomi 1080p max, not the best, and there's also speech enhancement on the Pixel, which is great for vlogging or just talking to the camera in general. So looking at these pictures, overall, I'm going to say the Pixel 7 Pro is more consistent with HDR, whereas on the Xiaomi, it has authentic Leica and vibrant, where the Leica authentic color profile does look like more realistic in terms of the shadows. It's kind of darker, kind of give you like a moody, contrasty picture. Then we got the Leica vibrant color profile, where it does look closer to a typical HDR cell phone photo, but it doesn't overdo it. It kind of gives you that like more realistic tone. So it's kind of like a dialed down version of it. Therefore, if you like to have options of how your pictures will look like, you can do that on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. In terms of everyday use, the Xiaomi is a bit more flexible in terms of telephoto, where you can zoom all the way up to 120x, which doesn't look the best, but you do have that option, you do have that big range. Now, between the two Leica profiles, Vibrant is going to be the better choice in terms of HDR situations. The Pixel is just very easy to use and it's just consistent, like I said. So on a Xiaomi, you would have to think a lot about the picture and what you're taking, where you're taking it. On a Pixel, it's kind of worry-free. You just take a picture and it comes out fairly good. One thing to notice on the ultra wide is the Xiaomi 13 Ultra is wider. So if you want to capture the whole building or if you're in a tighter spot, that's going to be very helpful. In terms of taking telephoto pictures, the Xiaomi is just a bit quicker. So you get 2x, 3.2, and then 5. So if you need to go in between the middle, you can just jump straight to 3.2. So you don't have to pinch to zoom. Whereas on a Pixel, you get 2x and the next button you get is 5x. So that is a pretty big jump between those two buttons. And you may need to find yourself zooming back out or just zooming in from 2x. So it does take a longer process. But the 30x pictures on the Pixel is still not that bad. It's usable, especially for a regular consumer. Now for low light, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra does have the edge because of the bigger sensor. But if you're taking pictures in a city where there's a bunch of lights from buildings, then I would say both would look fairly good. And with HDR, the Pixel does still have a good consistency from daylight to low light. So it's nice to be able to know that you will get a good, consistent, well exposed picture. Now since the Xiaomi does have the 1-inch sensor, a lot of the photos will come out cleaner. So even though the Pixel 7 Pro is more exposed in the darker spots, if you look at the sky, it's definitely a lot noisier. Now for regular consumers, they probably won't notice, but for people who actually take photos and notice these things, especially knowing the advantage of the bigger sensor, they would pick up on this stuff easily. Now in Xiaomi, it looks like switching over to Leica Vibrant is a smarter choice in terms of taking photos in low light, just because it does have a little bit better HDR, you can see more in the shadows, and also the colors do pop a little bit more. The Xiaomi does have a variable aperture from f1.9 to f4.0, which is great if you want to have a more clearer background, especially when you're taking pictures up close or food, where you want a lot of the things in focus, which I think a lot of people want to do because they want to show the food, not having it half blurred out. So that option is pretty helpful for certain situations. For video, the first thing I want to say again for HDR, more consistent on a Pixel, you can see more in the shadows, and as you notice with ultra wide, it's just a bit wider on the Xiaomi. Now in terms of the coloring, it's really personal preference which one you like better. I feel like the Pixel is just a really safe color where everything does look more natural. Now for stabilization and daylight, they are both pretty good. Now moving on to the wide angle, you can clearly tell the Pixel does have the uplifted shadows, you can see the detail in the design, but it is noisier. So if I zoom in and just show more in that spot, it's not going to be as clean as the Xiaomi. And also you would naturally get more background blur because of the bigger sensor on the Xiaomi. Now moving on to the telephoto lenses, when I'm walking and recording, you can see those micro jitters on both, but it is more apparent on the Pixel. But if I'm standing still slowly panning, then it's fine. Now during the sunset, you can clearly tell the colors are a huge difference between the two. The Pixel does have that nice and moody golden hour look, or it's more golden than the Xiaomi. Now if you ever need to zoom into the max, the Pixel does zoom in farther, but is not going to be as clean and it's a lot noisier. For portrait mode, they both can shoot in 1x and zoom in to 2x on a Pixel, and I would say 3x on the Xiaomi. Now I would stay away from using the 2x on a Pixel just because it looks a lot more digitized and is not as clean as the 1x. So always stick with 1x when you're taking portrait mode on a Pixel. And for the colors and skin tone, definitely the Pixel is more natural and consistent. It does look closer to the eye, whereas on the Xiaomi, the authentic, I feel like it's too cool, and on the vibrant, there's some times where the skin tones just look too red or too warm. So I think if a normal person is looking at these pictures, they would probably think someone has already edited the colors out of the Xiaomi and the Pixel is just straight from the camera. And you also have the master lens mode in the Xiaomi portrait mode, where it's nice to be able to take pictures in those common focal lengths. I would say except for 90mm, because that filter does look pretty weird and I don't really like it. So overall, I feel like they're both great cameras. The Pixel is just really easy to use and is catered towards the regular person who doesn't know much about cameras. And most of the pictures you take on a Pixel, very consistent, very easy, and it just looks great straight from camera. And for the Xiaomi, it's catered towards the people who knows about cameras, who are more camera savvy, who knows about variable apertures and how to control it, and those different color profiles and just the like of colors. So I feel like if a regular person is using the Xiaomi, they're probably going to be lost and spending a lot of time learning how to use the camera. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about these two phones. Also, if you want to see more comparison between the Xiaomi 13 Ultra and other phones, I will have it up on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.